When your cells start resisting the ki, which means the energy is unable to go into your cells anymore. This is a very common problem with high carb diets. It's super common. It also leads to diabetes. What's up guys, how's your day going so far? Mine's going kind of because this morning I saw a video on the Ketogenic Diet by Julian Michales where she was practically killing it, like destroying the diet. She hates the diet for some reason and she was talking all things negative about it. Well, for those of you who don't know what the Ketogenic Diet is, it's a high fat, medium protein and low carbohydrate diet with benefits ranging from no arthritis, works on PCOS, it's good for weight loss, it's just a better overall diet for your mental health as well. But beyond that, there are reasons why celebrity nutritionist, I would say, or fitness trainer, Julian Michales, does not like the keto diet. And she posted a video on this channel called Big Think, which is a big channel. It's a channel where important ideas are discussed. I really like these videos that they post. But the problem with this video that I saw of Julian Michales is it was kind of blasphemous, if I could say. Let's dive in. Let's just find out what I'm talking about.
How do we really decipher the thousands of studies that are out there on all of these diets? And the problem is, what people will do to try to sell you a false bill of goods is take one study and blow that study out as though it's the entire picture, when of course it isn't. Imagine you have a massive painting, but I only showed you this tiny piece of the painting, but you had no idea what the hell else was going on over here. There's no way you could get an accurate read on if this is a sad picture, a happy picture, a danger, like there's no way you could know, correct? So when we look at keto, here's why we're saying, or not me, but here's where some of the advocates are espousing benefits. Well, what are we doing with keto, right? We're removing carbohydrates. Anything that elevates, you got about 20 grams of carbohydrates a day.
Wait, elevates what? Elevates what?
Carbohydrates. Anything that elevates, you got to...
Oh, elevates your insulin. Insulin. Yeah, that's the key. That's really important in a ketogenic diet. That's the entire point of it, to counter insulin resistance. So insulin, if you think about it, is like a key. So your body has cells and carbohydrates are processed into glucose. And insulin that is secreted in your pancreas acts as a key for the cells that allows the glucose to visit them. It's like a doorkeeper. So insulin is super important when you have glucose, and insulin resistance is when your cells start resisting the ki, which means the energy is unable to go into your cells anymore. This is a very common problem with high carb diets. It's super common. It also leads to diabetes.
20 grams of carbohydrates a day that you're ingesting, which is essentially nothing. It's about 80 calories worth of carbohydrates out of what could be anywhere from
Again, what's so wrong about it? She's saying as if 80 calories worth of carbs is equal to eating shit from cows. No, it makes no sense. There is no need to say something like that in that tone, you know.
1,600 to 2,500 calorie a day diet, so that's nothing, right? And it throws your body into a state of emergency. That's what ketosis is.
Does she even know what emergency means? When she uses that term, I imagine ambulance and hospitals and you lying on a bed motionless, maybe paralyzed. I don't know. That's emergency. Ketosis is a state of starvation. The word itself is not as negative as you might think. In a state of starvation, your body is the most efficient. So your own cells get repaired. Your protein synthesis is better. You don't have to eat a high amount of protein as much as you have to eat in your carb diet. So your body gets better at using insulin, at protein synthesis. Your mental health is better. Again, I'm repeating that, but she so far makes no sense. I'm sorry to offend all carb eaters. I mean, I'm one of them, but...
And because we don't have any glucose or glycogen, any blood sugar or stored blood sugar, we turn to fat quickly. We produce ketones, and the idea is we burn through fat and we lose fat fast. And that is true, right? And you would think that would be a good thing. And in addition, people will say, well, I reversed my type 2 diabetes. Of course, your insulin level is through the floor. You're consuming 0 carbohydrates. So you have no blood sugar, so your pancreas is not releasing insulin. And this can also affect conditions like polycystic ovarian syndrome. And by virtue of that connection, it could also affect fertility. Fair, let's give it that. But here's what we're not talking about. There's 0 calorie restriction on a ketogenic diet.
Let me explain that from the point of Apple CEO Tim Cook trying to introduce the next iPhone. Yes, Android is more flexible. Yes, Android is more user-friendly. I mean, I've heard so many people say that Android has Gmail, you have Bluetooth, you can transfer files and all. But iPhone is more expensive. Nobody is talking about how expensive the iPhone is and how important it is to be expensive. It does not have to heal you, It's fun, not a diet.
So you have a massive amount of oxidative stress. There's no consideration of timing with regard to food, so your autophagy process is totally out of whack. In addition to that,
autophagy, what? I have hardly heard anybody outside the keto community even talk about autophagy. So autophagy is the ability of your cells to basically rejuvenate. On normal times, your cells just degenerate and that's it. But when your autophagy is better, your cells, they are able to break down and reconstruct themselves. That is how you need to eat. That is why you need to eat less amounts of protein, for example, in this diet. And that is how it cures autoimmune diseases as well.
In addition to that, it's very high in animal fats and animal proteins. So we're seeing that diets rich in saturated fats are poor for our telomeres, oxidative stress, increased inflammation, your nutrients.
Okay, so telomeres are basically your perceived age. Maybe let's say I'm 23 and I look like say 25, 20, whatever. That's my telomere. Now I've checked the entire internet for you. There are hardly any studies about telomeres that you can trust. There's 0 almost. And even the ones out there, keto has actually shown signs of having a better telomere. One more thing about the saturated fat part. Here's some research for you to look at about saturated fats and heart health.
Your metabolism are overrun with constant food, heavy fats, lots of animal protein, and on. We know it hurts your telomeres, and on and on and on. Now, what about the benefits? Is it worth it? Let me tell you, the number one way to sensitize somebody's body, again, to insulin is exercise.
Okay. But what about the benefits of Android over Apple? What benefits? It's useless, it looks ugly, it doesn't have enough bevels, it doesn't have the Apple logo. It's not even expensive. The number one way for a person to remove their phone addiction to Android is to buy an Apple.
I've been doing this a heck of a long time. I've reversed type 2 diabetes. I've helped people get off all medications for type 2 diabetes and PCOS and get pregnant after years of trying and failing through a common sense diet where we don't eat too much, we eat real food, and we have balanced macronutrients.
She's helped people with balanced diet, common sense, that unfortunately is not that common because why do we have diabetes in the first place? Why is more than half the world obese? Common sense diet that is not common. Okay, I get her point now. I have no clue what she's talking about.
Nutrients. So I can give you all those benefits with none of the negative side effects of keto. And last thought on keto, we're stripping our body of certain fruits which have a ton of antioxidants and polyphenols in them. So again, when we look at oxidative stress and
antioxidants and nutrients in fruit to sugars in fruits. If you can see, I don't know.
Stress and free radicals and how they're aging us, we need to look at antioxidant foods that help to combat that. When you start cutting out digestive enzymes in papaya and pineapple and mango and all of the beta carotene, which is one of the top things to help keep your telomeres long, something like keto is detrimental on so many different levels. And the amount of benefit is so small when we can take a completely different path, get all the benefit over here, none of the negatives over here, and all the benefits over there.
If we could just buy an apple for a little price of an Android, another little price of an Android, and get all the benefits of none of the Androids. I mean, of course, it won't solve your phone addiction, it will solve your Android addiction. Yes, of course, you will still have diabetes because carbohydrates invariably convert into glucose. Of course you will die sooner because sugar is more addictive than a lot of other things out there, than all sorts of meats and fats. Yes, carbs will make you fatter because you tend to overeat on carbs more than fats. But it'll have an Apple logo behind it. You get the point? I mean, I didn't expect it to go that way, but I'll post a few transformation photos at the end of this video of people I've helped with my Diet Plus program through a possible taught today. You can check it out. It's closed now. It was a free diet program that I ran, and a few of them signed up, and here are a few results, and they were mostly all put on ketogenic diets.